A dark room holds a silent, ominous presence, viewed from a low, unsettling angle. Nightmarish creatures emerge from the shadows, their glowing eyes fixed on the sleeping figure with a singular, obsessive desire. One monster looms closer, its terrifying maw opening wide, ready to claim its prize. The sleeper's eyes fly open just as a sharp threat touches their throat, a moment from disaster. He bolts upright with a silent scream, a visceral reaction to the phantom terror. Scrambling on the floor, he clutches his neck, desperately trying to separate nightmare from reality. His panicked gaze darts around, searching for any sign of the horrors that haunted his sleep. Suddenly, he finds himself in an unfamiliar room, adding a new layer of confusion to his fear. A horrifying memory surfaces as he recalls a grim scene and his own apparent demise. The full, shocking truth hits him like a bolt of lightning, shattering his perception of reality. Fragments of a life flash before his eyes. Scholarships, university, a familiar face. He grapples with a shocking realization. These memories aren't his own. The truth dawns. He's been transported to another world, another life. He compares his past and present, finding stark differences in their paths. He judges the previous inhabitant of this body, finding him lacking. He discovers a surprising detail about this new identity, a harem of girlfriends. He learns the previous owner's true motivation wasn't romance, but financial gain. He reacts with a mix of envy and disgust at the previous owner's actions. He opens a window, gazing out at the unfamiliar cityscape. He contemplates a peaceful life, but quickly dismisses the idea. He finds himself in a university cafeteria, immediately at the center of an unwanted confrontation. A campus belle named Lin Xiaoyi publicly rejects him, supported by her quiet friend Xia Wen. But his attention isn't on the rejection. He's stunned by something impossible he just saw. He stares in horror, seeing a monstrous face hidden on the back of Xia Wen's head. As Lin Xiaoyi's insults fly, the hidden face twists in a terrifying snarl directed at him. The creature's jaw unhinges, lunging forward with a monstrous appetite aimed at the oblivious girl. He shoves the unsuspecting girl to safety, narrowly avoiding the phantom attack. The friend's human form dissolves, revealing a terrifying shadow entity looming over them. A monster called Borrowed Face Resentment stands fully revealed, driven by an insatiable hunger. He retracts his earlier thoughts. This world is a death trap where one wrong move is fatal. He holds a small bone, a strange offering in this bizarre situation. He offers the bone to the Borrowed Face Resentment, a test of its nature. The creature snatches the bone, behaving unexpectedly like a playful pet. He smirks, amused by the creature's reaction, calling it a good doggy. The creature's demeanor shifts, enraged by the condescending treatment. He retaliates against the creature with a swift, unexpected action. He lectures the subdued creature, offering unsolicited life advice. The creature reacts with intense frustration to his condescending words. He banishes the creature, sending it away from the scene. Lin Xiaoyi, bewildered, reacts to the aftermath of the strange event. He casually informs the girl her friend is safe and turns to leave. Waving them off, he promises not to bother them again, ignoring her call to wait. Xiaowen stares in disbelief, demanding to know what just transpired. Lin Xiaoyi, however, is completely infatuated, convinced she's just met the man of her dreams. Walking alone, he resolves to use his past life skills to craft weapons for the monsters ahead. His expression hardens with grim determination, ready to do whatever it takes to survive. His path is interrupted by the eerie sight of children playing a late-night game of hopscotch. A closer look reveals one child's glowing red eyes, hinting at a sinister nature. The demonic child invites him to join their game, revealing terrified, captured adults in the background. He forces a nervous smile, politely refusing the deadly invitation. He reaches out, ready to engage the unsettling situation. The demonic child insists on his participation, the shadows swirling ominously. He's pulled into the game, a sense of dread washing over him. He finds himself falling into an unknown abyss, fear etched on his face. Another victim succumbs to the game's dark influence, their fate uncertain. The demonic child's true form begins to emerge, radiating a sinister aura. The game's true nature is revealed, a terrifying escape room of despair. He braces himself, realizing the gravity of his predicament. The child gloats, adding another soul to his collection of captured figures. He's transformed, becoming a miniature version of himself, held captive. The demonic child holds its new prize, dangling the shrunken hero over a mouth full of razor-sharp teeth. Out of nowhere, A tiny girl with space buns delivers a powerful slap to the demonic child's face. Stunned and infuriated, the demonic child clutches its stinging cheek, questioning the girl's interference. She lectures the boy, warning that his reckless actions will draw the unwanted attention of official players. As if on cue, she points to the street below, where a team of these players is already arriving. The arriving team is a trio of monster hunters, 2 seasoned veterans and 1 nervous rookie on support duty. The captain assesses the situation on the roof, deeming the mission too hazardous for their inexperienced member. Peering down with a sinister grin, the demonic child scoffs at the players' low levels, viewing them as a lucky opportunity. He tries to tempt the girl with a power boost, suggesting they hunt the players together, but she begins to float away in disgust. She delivers a final, condescending warning, telling him not to underestimate any player before abandoning him to his fate. The demonic child scoffs at her warning, believing that risk is necessary for reward. She floats away, calling him a fool who is actively seeking his own end. Down below, the rookie player sprints through a derelict hallway, a blur of motion. He panics, realizing he's been thrown into a high-level encounter immediately. With a determined expression, he pushes through the fear, sweat dripping from his face. A massive shadow creature erupts from the darkness behind him, letting out a silent, terrifying roar. The monster looms over the rookie, its glowing eyes and sharp teeth promising a swift end. In a split-second decision, the rookie plants his foot, preparing to pivot away from danger. He executes a desperate dodge as the creature's attack narrowly misses him. Scrambling on the floor, he looks back in shock, his hand scraped from the close encounter. He sweats, his expression grim as he processes the close call. The monstrous creature seems to vanish, confusing the rookie. He tries to understand the situation, reminding himself to stay calm. He questions the rules of this strange, deadly game. A sudden realization dawns on him about the creature's nature. He figures out the connection between the shadow, light, and danger. The creature uses darkness to its advantage, explaining its disappearance. He realizes hiding isn't a long-term solution and needs a plan. He decides to find a weapon for self-defense. He spots something that might be useful and investigates. He laments the lack of decent weaponry in this strange new world. His hand reaches out, finding something unexpected in the darkness. He examines the mysterious object, noting its chilling temperature and unusual form. His expression shifts to shock as he processes the object's true nature. He recoils in surprise, questioning the reality of his discovery. He wonders if the room holds more supernatural surprises. He reflects on the unexpected tactile experience, finding it strangely pleasant. Driven by curiosity, he decides to investigate further, earning an unseen judgment. He questions the logic of the accusation, finding it absurd. He encounters another unexpected sensation, this time warm and soft. A girl with pink hair charges at him, swinging a baseball bat with fierce determination. She screams in terror, wildly attacking him as he tries to defend himself from the frantic assault. He catches the bat mid-swing, trying to reason with his hysterical attacker. Through tears, she insists she must attack him precisely because he's human, a threat she can't handle. He's completely baffled by her logic, questioning why he would ever want to harm her. Cowering on the floor, she reveals the game's brutal rule. Only the last one standing can escape. He's stunned as the second escape rule for this deadly game is officially announced. He calmly reassures the terrified girl, promising that neither of them has to die. A confident smirk spreads across his face as he reveals his plan to break the game using its own rules. He asks for the location of the other players, determined to unite them for his counter-strategy. He stands victorious amidst the grim aftermath, taunting the game's master to let him out. A system notification confirms he's completed the Battle Royale and is being teleported out. Surrounded by digital light, he celebrates his successful gamble, proving even these deadly games have loopholes. He's suddenly ejected back outside the building as cries for help echo from above. On the rooftop, the demonic child has captured the other 2 players, who struggle helplessly in his shadow tendrils. The child gloats with malevolent glee, mocking the weakness of his new captives. Without warning, the rookie reappears and delivers a powerful blow with the bat, sending the demon flying. The demonic child lies stunned, unable to comprehend how anyone could have cleared his impossible game so quickly. He looms over the creature with a smirk, dismissing its deadly game as a simple puzzle. His victory is cut short as he's suddenly attacked, indignantly questioning why the main character is being hit. The pink-haired girl tearfully explains she was manipulated by the demonic child's shameless scheme. The demonic child, clutching his bruised face, furiously demands to know how the rookie beat his impossible game. With a confident smirk, the rookie begins to explain the simple trick behind his escape. He reveals the game's core mechanic. The shadow itself is the source of all danger. He recalls asking the terrified girl if she was ready for his plan, and she bravely agreed. He explains that if the shadow itself is defeated, the game registers it as a player's demise. He demonstrates how he simply killed his own shadow, tricking the game into thinking he was eliminated. The girl watches in stunned silence, realizing the brilliant simplicity of his loophole. He reveals his entire victory was a clever illusion, using the game's own rules to fake his death and escape. The demonic child seethes with rage, humiliated at being outsmarted by such a ridiculously simple trick. The demonic child's shadow form shoots towards the rookie, promising he's not getting off easy. The rookie realizes the creature is trying to flee through a nearby doorway. With surprising speed, the rookie pins the creature's shadow tail with his foot. The shadow violently retracts, dragging the screaming demonic child back across the rooftop. He smirks, revealing his entire explanation was just a ploy to stall the creature's shadow escape. His teammates exchange a baffled look, admitting they were completely oblivious to the rookie's plan. The rookie signals to his teammates, declaring that their window of opportunity is now open. Springing into action, the two veterans ready their weapons and rush to attack. The captain unleashes a powerful attack, launching two glowing crescent blades at the stunned child. The blades strike true, hitting the demonic child and leaving him reeling in shock. The demonic child is sent flying from a powerful impact. Enraged, the child vows revenge on his attackers. The veteran captain aims his weapon, ready to end the threat. A powerful, glowing projectile is fired from the captain's weapon. The projectile strikes its target with pinpoint accuracy. The rookie observes the scene, taking in the situation. The demonic child is injured but not defeated. The other veteran urges the captain to attack again. The rookie realizes these are no ordinary people. The demonic child realizes he's in serious trouble. The captain shouts in alarm, calling out to his teammate Xuanzi. A wounded student stumbles in, warning them about a killer doll before collapsing. The rookie observes the chaos with a calm, unimpressed expression. The captain quickly assesses the situation, ordering his teammate to deal with the new threat downstairs. He entrusts the rookie with watching the unconscious demonic child, a task the rookie accepts with a sly smile. With the others gone, the rookie casually approaches the downed child, bat slung over his shoulder. He leans in, greeting the unconscious figure as if they were old acquaintances. A menacing aura surrounds him as he offers to treat the child's injuries. He delivers a swift and punishing blow with the baseball bat. The demonic child's spirit is violently jolted from its body, screaming in agony and regret. The space bun girl abandons the demonic child, leaving him to face the consequences. The rookie walks away, leaving the defeated child and the unconscious players behind. The rookie reflects on the strange alliances and betrayals he's already witnessed. The pink-haired girl corners the rookie, her expression filled with desperation. The scene shifts to a close-up of the demonic child's face, shrouded in shadow. The demonic child's face contorts in a furious expression. The demonic child lunges at the rookie, initiating a sudden attack. The rookie reacts to the attack, the scene engulfed in fiery energy. The rookie retaliates, pushing back against the demonic child's assault. The rookie assesses the situation, seemingly unfazed by the fiery encounter. The demonic child unleashes a fiery burst of energy, boasting of his endless numbers. His features distort into a monstrous visage, promising inescapable torment. A single menacing eye opens within the flames, vowing pursuit until death. The fiery energy dissipates, leaving a trail of sparks in its wake. The rookie questions the demonic child's claim of no escape. A system message appears, congratulating him on becoming an official player. His player stats are displayed, revealing his rookie status and a 72-hour newbie protection. The demonic child rants about the illusion of likes and comments, claiming control over the narrative. He accuses someone of deceiving the author and promises further torment. The rookie's player interface loads, revealing his basic information and lack of equipment. His player stats reveal high intelligence and charisma, but low strength. His inventory includes a Shadow Kingdom pass and land deed. He notes the demonic child's final, spiteful act. He compares this new reality to a large-scale horror game. A monstrous entity appears, challenging him to play. He accepts the challenge with a confident smirk. He lands on the rooftop, surprised by the sudden change of scenery. Others on the rooftop plead for their lives. He realizes they've escaped the previous danger. He reassures the others that the threat is over. The grateful survivors cling to him, hailing him as their savior in a tearful display. He awkwardly tries to fend off their overwhelming gratitude, especially the one pulling at his pants. Paramedics arrive to handle the aftermath, loading the injured into an ambulance as a crowd watches. Lin Xiaoyi spots him from afar, pointing him out to her friend as the man who captured her heart. The veteran captain formally introduces himself, shaking hands with the surprisingly capable rookie, Bai Ji. The captain reveals he's already assessed the situation, identifying the two supernatural threats they faced. Impressed by his skills, the captain offers Baiji a chance to join their official monster hunting organization. Baiji flatly refuses the invitation, preferring his status as a lone wolf. The captain looks disappointed but seems to accept his decision. Undeterred, the captain tries a different tactic, offering a card, but Baiji immediately rejects the bribe. The captain insists he take a credit card, calling it a personal reward of 1 million for saving his life. Baizu is completely floored by the staggering amount of money being offered. His inner devil reminds him of his desperate financial state, urging him to take the deal. Even his inner angel chimes in, agreeing that the captain's offer is a good one. The captain frames the reward as a gesture of friendship, hoping for future cooperation. Convinced by both his inner voices and the captain's sincerity, Baiji finally accepts. From a distance, Lin Xiaoyi's admiration soars as she sees the official team treating him like a hero. Her friend tries to snap her out of it by mentioning his bad reputation, but Lin Xiaoyi starts to rationalize his past actions. She invents a noble backstory for him, deciding he only pretended to be a scumbag to secretly fight monsters. Completely swept up in her fantasy, Lin Xiaoyi declares her unwavering determination to be with him. Back in his room, Baiju stares at a holographic timer counting down his remaining newbie protection. He recalls intel from a dark web forum. When the timer ends, the system forces every player into a mission. Stretching, he resolves to prepare thoroughly, refusing to be caught defenseless again. His thoughts are abruptly interrupted by a loud, insistent knock on his door. He cautiously approaches, wondering who could possibly be visiting at such a late hour. Opening the door, he finds one of the previous owner's many girlfriends waiting for him. With a completely deadpan expression, he asks her what she wants. The girl is visibly shocked by his cold and indifferent reaction to her presence. She clears her throat, trying to regain her composure and put on a charming front. Striking a confident pose, she announces that she has decided to accept his offer to go out. He internally fumes, completely baffled by the audacity of another one of the body's former flames. The girl storms off, warning him to never come near her again. But from a distance, she vows to follow him relentlessly, refusing to give up. The next day, a new energetic girl with orange hair cheerfully calls out his name on campus. She gets uncomfortably close, offering him food with an adoring gaze. He ignores her completely, walking away as she trails behind him like a lost puppy. Finally stopping, he confronts her about following him all the way to the men's restroom. Unfazed, she happily promises to wait for him right outside the door. Hiding in a stall, he groans in frustration, blaming his handsome new face for all this unwanted attention. His expression turns serious as he pushes the annoyance aside, focusing on the urgent tasks ahead. The newbie protection timer hits 0, initiating a mandatory mission. He's transported to a spooky, rain-soaked mansion. Inside, a shadowy figure sits amidst a strange, blue-hued atmosphere. He reappears, seemingly unharmed, with digital text overlaid on him. The mission details appear, a scenario mission titled Between Reality and Illusion, with a 6-hour time limit to survive until dawn. He addresses a group of children, reassuring them and asking for support. He interacts with the children, promising future updates. A system prompt appears, requesting player ID confirmation before the mission begins. He struggles to choose a suitable player name. He decides to use his existing online nickname for his player ID. The system confirms his unique nickname and initiates teleportation. He's whisked away, enveloped in a vibrant digital energy field. He materializes in a dimly lit, rain-streaked environment with other players. A pink-haired girl excitedly announces the arrival of the final player. Another player, seemingly more experienced, analyzes the situation. The group gathers, their gear suggesting a shared backstory. The mission parameters are laid out: survival until dawn. The experienced player emphasizes the deadly stakes of their situation. Fear grips the group as the reality of the mission sinks in. The experienced player attempts to reassure the frightened newcomers. One player asks if another has a plan to clear the mission. The experienced player suggests 2 options, starting with following the rules. He describes the mission as a real-life escape room with high stakes. His second suggestion involves braving the stormy weather outside. Another player questions the wisdom of leaving the villa in a storm. The experienced player confirms his suggestion. The pink-haired girl points out the dangers of the second option. The experienced player clarifies it was just a suggestion. Baiju interrupts, claiming to have a better idea. He suggests burning the villa down, shocking the other players. Baiju contemplates a more explosive solution to the mission. He envisions a dramatic, all-encompassing approach to problem-solving. He prepares to enact his rather unconventional plan. A teammate intervenes, suggesting a less drastic course of action. Baiju reluctantly agrees to a more traditional approach. The team receives a briefing on the villa's layout. Baiju and the pink-haired girl begin their search of the kitchen. They encounter something unpleasant within the kitchen. Baiju offers a blunt assessment of the girl's apparent fear. The girl denies being scared, insisting she's ready to continue. The pink-haired girl finds a disturbing sight in the kitchen. Baiju swiftly scoops up the startled girl. He explains the harmless nature of the object, calming her down. They examine the object more closely, questioning its peculiarity. The girl laughs, relieved and slightly embarrassed by her overreaction. She spots another concerning item and points it out. Determined, she prepares to investigate the new object. Her attempt to remove the object is unsuccessful. Baiju reveals the unsettling truth about the second object. Another player discovers a disturbing scene in the refrigerator. Baiju observes the pink-haired girl, who seems to have fainted. He comments on the plot's progression and shines his flashlight. A severed head floats in a dark liquid, demanding answers. Baiju suggests a fiery solution, while another player disagrees. A cheerful public square scene with music and dancing. Two girls dance energetically, enjoying the upbeat music. A disturbing encounter unfolds, causing distress. The pink-haired girl reacts with shock and fear. Baiju checks on the girl and offers a comforting suggestion. Baiju sings enthusiastically, claiming to have dispelled the negative energy. The girl tearfully insists his singing is traumatizing her instead of helping. Baiju moves on to investigate a disturbingly stained restroom with his flashlight. The other players decide to regroup in the living room after their search yields no new clues. Outside, the storm continues to batter the isolated mansion, trapping them within its walls. His teammate questions his bizarre choice of bringing a boombox to a horror mission. Distracted by the conversation, the pink-haired girl accidentally bumps into another player. She looks around in confusion, trying to understand what just happened. The experienced player's expression turns serious as he senses something is terribly wrong. Suddenly, the front door of the villa slams open with a deafening crash. The player inspects the entrance, noting the lack of footprints and blaming the fierce wind. He examines footprints, noticing one set is heavier and the other staggered. He confidently declares the truth of the matter is clear. Unlike his smooth investigation, another group encountered trouble. He deduces someone in the other group was injured based on the footprints. He reconstructs the scene, picturing one teammate helping the injured one. He visualizes them grabbing something, accidentally knocking snacks over. He points, smugly confirming his deduction is correct. The experienced player stares, questioning his sanity. The pink-haired girl tells the veteran to get used to his eccentricities. The girl insists she was actually attacked despite his explanation. A shadowy hand suddenly lunges out, grabbing the pink-haired girl by the throat. She's violently thrown to the ground, her compact mirror skittering across the floor. The unseen force tightens its grip, leaving her gasping for air on the wooden planks. Her vision fades as she spots a dismembered arm lying ominously nearby. The veteran player shouts her name in alarm, rushing to intervene. He summons a small doll that projects a glowing green shield to block the attack. The shadowy hand is repelled by the magical barrier, releasing its hold on the girl. Catching her breath, she realizes her teammate's quick thinking just saved her life. Baiju calmly dismisses her theory about body parts, noting their previous find didn't trigger an attack. He confidently points out the real culprit, connecting the assault to the shattered compact mirror. He explains that the spirit only attacks through reflections, and her mirror was the trigger. With a confident smirk, he lays out their simple new objective: avoid reflections and find the body parts. The girl frantically argues, listing all the unexpected reflective surfaces that could still get them killed. She imagines a monster lunging from a mirror, warning that one mistake could wipe out the entire team. Unfazed, Baiju decides they can't just wait for dawn and urges everyone to resume the search. The veteran splits the teams, sending Baiju and the girl to the top floor where they find a dismembered torso. Baiji examines another piece, theorizing that the body was separated into 6 parts, not 5. The team gathers the recovered fragments on a table, trying to piece together the grim puzzle. They stare at the incomplete figure, realizing a crucial limb is still missing. The pink-haired girl speculates that the victim may have already been missing a limb before their death. A girl reacts with surprise as a man casually eats noodles. The man explains his need for constant energy replenishment. He demonstrates his impressive juggling skills while explaining his need for stamina. Confidently, he claims to have solved the puzzle and offers to lead the others. The time until dawn ticks down, adding pressure to the situation. Another player expresses disbelief at the quick solution. The man confirms he has indeed solved the puzzle. The pink-haired girl cries out in pain. The others rush to her side, concerned about her sudden distress. The veteran explains the girl's worsening condition and the danger she's in. The veteran warns that the safe zone is failing, and the spirit's growing power will soon overwhelm them all. A dark premonition shows the entire team succumbing to the shadowy entity's influence. The desperate girl confronts Bai Zhi, demanding he reveal the location of the missing hand. He ignores her, instead asking them to consider the true purpose of their novice mission. Bai Zhi calmly walks past the others, pondering if this is a simple adventure or a test of their worth as players. He theorizes that if the girl hadn't been saved, she would have simply vanished, not died, to keep the mission fair. He concludes the mission isn't about difficulty, but about testing their courage to face the unknown. The veteran has a revelation, realizing the girl would have been pulled into a mirror world, the mission's true stage. Baiju confirms it, explaining that the mirror world holds the missing hand and the key to solving the puzzle. The veteran panics, questioning if his act of saving her was a mistake and fearing Baiji's theory is a death trap. He explains his original plan is now ruined, casually dismissing the pink-haired girl as useless. He announces his intention to enter the mirror world alone, much to the veteran's alarm. Believing inaction is a death sentence, he prepares to take a decisive, risky step. The veteran reluctantly agrees, understanding they have no other choice. Baiji tears a strip of cloth, preparing for his solo journey into the unknown. He offers the veteran a small doll, explaining it provides a one-time defense. Entrusting the others to the veteran's care, he turns to face his challenge. The remaining players barricade the door, securing their position while he's gone. He stands before the ornate mirror, the gateway to the mission's true stage. The mirror's surface distorts into a swirling vortex, pulling him into the other world. A shadowy hand immediately seizes him by the throat, a hostile welcome to the mirror world. He's forcefully dragged into the swirling vortex, his body dissolving into the portal. A final wisp of energy follows him through the portal before it closes completely. Back in the real world, his teammates watch in stunned silence, their fate now resting entirely on him. He arrives in the mirror world, a silent, crimson-hued replica of the mansion. He instantly senses a nearby presence, realizing the true challenge has just begun. Wasting no time, he takes cover behind a piece of furniture, preparing for an encounter. A grotesque, stitched-together creature with glowing red eyes lurches into the room, its movement slow and deliberate. He considers the conventional strategy, a tedious game of hide-and-seek to find the missing hand. But he dismisses the slow approach, revealing a homemade incendiary bomb ready to end this quickly. He unleashes his fiery solution, believing extreme problems call for extreme measures. His plan works perfectly, as the creature is instantly engulfed in a roaring inferno. He seizes the opportunity as the flaming creature blindly flees, creating a much-needed distraction. He immediately begins a frantic search, tossing aside clothes and furniture to find his objective. He pauses to catch his breath, realizing the oppressive atmosphere of the mirror world is draining his energy twice as fast. The creature suddenly bursts through a window behind him, its fiery predicament apparently resolved. He backs away as the creature intelligently rolls on the floor, using the dampness to extinguish the last of the flames. He mockingly compliments the creature's fire safety awareness, astounded by its clever survival tactic. The creature then does the unthinkable, calmly detaching its own head from its shoulders. Before he can react, the creature launches its severed head at him like a grotesque cannonball. He delivers a swift kick, aiming for the grotesque head. He turns and sprints away, planning his next move. He realizes the creature has split, complicating his escape. He runs into a new room, searching for an advantage. The creature pursues him relentlessly, its grin unsettling. He steps on a hidden device, initiating a trap. An explosion rocks the room, momentarily halting the chase. Amidst the chaos, he wishes for more powerful weaponry. He spots the missing hand, a crucial piece of the puzzle. He celebrates his unexpected discovery, relieved and amused. He groans in pain, disoriented and struggling. He notices a disturbing injury on his arm. The creature attacks, enraged by the earlier flames. He retaliates with a forceful blow to the creature. He reacts to the pain as the adrenaline fades. He quickly treats his wound, aware of the time limit. He locates the creature hiding in the shadows. The mansion is illuminated by a flash of lightning. The remaining players huddle around a small fire. The pink-haired girl expresses concern about his absence. The veteran player decides to wait a bit longer. The pink-haired girl grips a knife, ready for action. Impatient, she decides to go and help. She moves through the eerie, red-lit mansion. The veteran player reflects on a close call. He prepares to complete his objective. The pink-haired girl attacks the veteran. He questions if she's working against them. They spot a figure on the upper level. The veteran explains the situation and proposes a plan. The veteran asks if anyone has weapons left. The pink-haired girl reveals her rather unconventional arsenal. Baichi decides to take matters into his own hands. He provokes the stitched creature with a swift kick. He taunts the creature, daring it to follow. The creature pursues him, demanding the return of its hand. Baichi smirks, clearly enjoying the chase. The veteran calls for backup as the creature closes in. The pink-haired girl charges into the fray with her makeshift weapon. The creature reacts with alarm to the unexpected attack. The veteran ignites his blade, channeling a burst of fiery energy into his weapon. He unleashes a massive fireball, a system message confirming the attack has reached its target. The stitched creature is completely engulfed in the inferno, its body contorting in silent agony. As the flaming monster falls, the team celebrates their success while Baiji begins to dematerialize. A system notification confirms his victory, and he smirks, having once again outsmarted the game. The pink-haired girl calls out his name, waving her makeshift mop weapons in a frantic farewell. She enthusiastically wishes him well, hoping their paths will cross again in the future. He offers a cool smile, silently dismissing the idea of a future reunion. His mission results appear, showing an S-rank evaluation, a level up, and a rare skill card. Back on campus, he's immediately confronted by the persistent orange-haired girl still waiting outside the restroom. She explains her unwavering dedication, revealing his 6-hour mission was only 6 minutes in their world. She leans in close, her expression turning serious as she senses something is different about him. He internally panics, worried her keen perception has somehow uncovered his secret. Her grand deduction is simply that he didn't wash his hands, an accusation he dismisses with utter contempt. He walks away, but she relentlessly calls after him, determined to continue her pursuit. Later, he reviews his stats, having boosted his constitution to an average human level. He decides to stop worrying about his stats, brushing off the long road ahead. A mischievous grin spreads across his face as he focuses on a more pressing matter. He meticulously washes his hands, cleansing them of his recent ordeal. In a bizarre ritual, he waves a red object around, seemingly burning incense to purify the air. With his purification ritual finished, he declares his preparations complete. He kneels dramatically, praying to the gacha gods before drawing his reward card. The system displays the rare skill card, and he desperately hopes for anything to fix his weak constitution. He taps the screen with a determined finger, activating the random skill. Golden energy erupts from his hand as he eagerly awaits his exclusive new power. His expression is full of suspense as the card's contents begin to materialize. Dark, shadowy tendrils emerge from the card, revealing a connection to the Shadow Kingdom. The shadowy energy violently wraps around him, catching him completely off guard. A system notification reveals he's obtained a perfect rarity skill, Shadow Control. He's horrified to see the demonic child specter behind him, realizing the origin of his new power. He erupts in fury, enraged that the demonic child's parting gift has forcibly altered his new skill. His frustration mounts as he glares at the cursed item, a chibi-sized storm of indignation. After a moment, he sighs in resignation, deciding that even a tainted skill is better than no skill at all. His inner angel and devil debate the skill's merits, one praising its perfect rarity while the other scoffs at its impossible learning conditions. The angel offers a silver lining, excitedly noting he's only 2 points shy of meeting the perception requirement. But the devil quickly crushes his hopes, reminding him he's stuck with his weak constitution until level 5. With a determined gaze, he puts the card away, resolving to focus on the grind and level up as quickly as possible. Just as he settles on his new goal, his phone buzzes insistently on the bed, interrupting his thoughts. He sees the caller is someone named Wu Hua, leaving him to wonder about the reason for the unexpected call. The call leads him to a city hospital, where he's immediately greeted by a familiar face. The veteran's teammate explains that many students are still in comas, their souls trapped in the shadow world. He grimly reveals that if their souls aren't recovered soon, the students will be lost forever. Desperate, he asks Baiju if he can return to the shadow world, being the only known survivor. With a determined look, Baiju confirms that he does have a way back in. He agrees to help on one condition. He must go alone, a term the teammate eagerly accepts. His plan is overheard by yet another of the body's ex-girlfriends, who looks on with suspicion. Baiji enters the hospital room, ready to begin the dangerous rescue mission. Standing before a door, he activates his Shadow Kingdom pass, summoning a dark portal. The shadowy energy consumes him, pulling him through the doorway into another dimension. He arrives in a desolate, otherworldly village, the eerie landscape of the Shadow Kingdom. He confidently strolls through the desolate streets of the Shadow Kingdom. A monstrous shadow creature immediately lunges at him, forcing a quick dodge. The creature skids to a halt as he regains his footing, ready for a fight. An entire horde of monsters emerges from the shadows, vowing to avenge their fallen master. Unfazed, he stands his ground as the grotesque army charges him from all sides. He realizes that with the demonic child gone, these creatures are now completely unrestrained. A sudden spark of an idea hits him, a potential solution to his dire situation. He pulls out the Shadow Kingdom land deed, preparing to make a bold, game-changing move. A system notification confirms the item's activation as a massive shadow hand descends upon him. He's engulfed in a violent surge of purple energy as the contract signing process begins. A burst of purple energy erupts, scattering shadowy figures. A monstrous figure lunges from the chaos, its eyes glowing red. A close-up reveals a snarling face, teeth bared in a ferocious expression. The shadowy figures bow down, acknowledging a new leader. Baiji stands amidst the chaos, claiming the territory as his own. 3 creepy dolls sit on a shelf, their presence unsettling. Baiju examines the dolls, recognizing their significance. Ominous shadows stretch across the floor, hinting at unseen presences. Baiji senses something, his expression turning curious. Monstrous figures attack, their glowing red eyes fixed on their target. The shadowy figures plead with Baiju, showing unexpected deference. Baiju looks surprised by the sudden change in the creature's behavior. He realizes they're afraid he'll banish them from the Shadow Kingdom. The creatures offer him gifts, promising to behave if he lets them stay. Baiju declines their offerings, having other plans in mind. He announces his intention to explore the Shadow Kingdom further. Baiju walks through the desolate streets of the Shadow Realm. He observes the deserted town from a high vantage point. He notes the town's lifeless atmosphere, expecting no signs of activity. He's surprised to hear the sounds of a bustling marketplace nearby. A flamboyant vendor greets him, offering guidance and game currency. He receives the currency, surprised to see other players in this unexpected location. The vendor explains the location's connection to the official auction house. He learns this is a safe black market within the Shadow Kingdom. The vendor hands him a gift, commenting on his good fortune. The vendor realizes he's unfamiliar with this hidden marketplace. The vendor explains the area's origins and warns him about the dangers outside the town. He examines the past, learning its properties and limitations. He realizes the market formed after the demonic child's disappearance. The vendor asks if he has any further questions. The vendor smirks, explaining that valuable intel comes at a premium price. He then gets greedy, demanding a steep price of 500 game currency for his knowledge. Unimpressed, Baiju simply turns to leave, forcing the desperate vendor to call him back and offer a negotiation. Baiju counters with an insultingly low offer of just 1 single game currency. Defeated, the vendor reluctantly accepts the deal, framing it as a gesture of friendship. After the exchange, the vendor begins to explain the crucial game mechanic of sanity value. He reveals that a high sanity stat is the only defense against mind-breaking horrors that have yet to appear. The vendor boasts about his source's credibility before realizing Baiji has already lost interest and is leaving. Baiju walks through the eerie town, papers swirling around him in the wind. A stray piece of paper suddenly smacks him right in the face, interrupting his thoughts. He reads a beginner's guide to the Shadow Kingdom, learning about sanity and its importance. He's annoyed by the vendor's plagiarism, recognizing lines from a beginner's pamphlet. The scene shifts to a hospital, bathed in sunlight. He visits someone in the hospital, offering a gift. He offers another gift, observed by a disapproving woman. The woman confronts him, accusing him of stealing and worsening behavior. He struggles to remember who she is, questioning her identity. She angrily reminds him of their past relationship. He calmly dismisses her anger and attempts to leave. She insults him as he walks away, prioritizing his current mission. He understands the urgent need to level up as the world grows increasingly perilous. He finds himself in a digital void, on the brink of a new challenge. A system notification announces a new game has appeared at a local shopping mall. The system reveals there are 4 distinct methods for players to gain experience. The first method involves completing the periodic mandatory missions assigned by the system. A second option is to actively participate in and resolve real-world supernatural events. The third way is to hunt down special monsters that randomly spawn in the world. He arrives at the mall, the location of the mysterious fourth method. A monstrous clown head materializes, welcoming players to its special game site. Baiji looks on with apprehension, clearly unnerved by the terrifying new host. The monstrous clown head explains the game's high stakes. Baiji reacts poorly to the clown's unsettling laughter. A child points out Baiji's unusual behavior in public. The child's mother tries to correct her daughter's rudeness. Baiji reflects on the nature of the game's reality. Someone pokes Baiji, interrupting his thoughts. Baiji turns to see who disturbed him. The clown explains the teleportation process. Baiji requests to be taken to the game site. The clown directs Baiji to the teleportation point. A system interface displays the game's grim statistics as he's teleported in. He materializes inside a fancy living room, the new game's setting. The mission details are revealed, a casual puzzle game with a surprisingly harsh penalty for failure. He recognizes the game's premise, a sense of familiarity dawning on him. 3 other players suddenly materialize beside him, catching him completely off guard. System notifications identify the new arrivals, revealing their player names and levels. The pink-haired girl from his last mission greets him enthusiastically, much to his dismay. The veteran player also recognizes him, confirming they've been thrown into another game together. The girl mocks the veteran's new look, who defensively claims he paid for the mature appearance. A calmer teammate interrupts their bickering, refocusing the group on their urgent mission objective. The veteran player suggests they follow Baiji's lead, citing their previous success, but trails off with a hint of doubt. The calmer teammate cuts him off, agreeing they should stick with the proven winner's plan. Baiji glances toward a closed door, wondering if he knows the people they're about to meet. The rest of the team confidently heads for the door, ready to begin exploring the new game area. Baiji watches them with a grim expression, sensing something is off about their eagerness. Suddenly, the calmer teammate slams the door shut, preventing anyone from leaving the room. The pink-haired girl turns back in confusion, only to be warned that she should prepare herself for what's outside. She playfully mocks him, questioning why the one who preached about overcoming fear is now so hesitant. Brimming with confidence, she boasts that after their last mission, she's completely fearless. She boldly steps forward, ready to open the door herself as her teammate looks on, unimpressed. The calmer teammate sits motionless, a disturbing change overcoming him. The pink-haired girl reacts with intense fear to the unsettling sight. The others examine the teammate, trying to understand what happened. The veteran questions the others, seeking an explanation. Baiji comments on the situation, his thoughts drifting to food. He theorizes about the game's objective, referencing a familiar title. He compares the game to a popular zombie defense game. The others react with surprise to his sudden outburst. He holds up a large bone, his hunger growing. The veteran and another player react strongly to his bizarre behavior. Unlike the game, this zombie threat is omnidirectional. The first player to clear the game gains ownership of it. He questions the placement of an object. They adjust the object, trying to get it just right. He abruptly stops their fiddling with the object. He urges them to focus on the task at hand. He reacts dramatically to an unseen event. The others are startled by the sudden commotion. A system message warns of imminent danger. The pink-haired girl alerts the group to an immediate threat. The entire team stares in horror, bracing for the chaos about to unfold. Outside, a relentless horde of the undead shambles towards their house. The grotesque creatures groan, their glowing eyes fixed on their next meal. Baiji is suddenly startled as a new game mechanic materializes out of thin air. A system prompt reveals a gacha machine, offering players a chance to obtain defensive plants. The pink-haired girl questions the strange machines, deciding it's easier to just give Baiji orders later. Wasting no time, he uses the machine, eagerly awaiting his first defensive tool. The machine dispenses his prize, a stoic, surprisingly handsome sunflower. He smirks, satisfied with his lucky draw, and turns to see what his teammates got. The veteran proudly displays a cool starfruit, while the other teammate reveals a classic pea shooter. The pink-haired girl is impressed by her teammates' gacha pulls. She shows off her own impressive haul of defensive plants. She struggles to choose just one, seeking Baiji's advice. Baiji assesses his teammates' less than stellar pulls. He advises her on the best strategic choice given the options. The game begins and the veteran takes charge, issuing orders. The veteran assigns defensive positions to the other players. Another teammate receives his instructions and confirms his readiness. Baiji rallies the team, eager to put their plan into action. The pink-haired girl questions her role in the upcoming battle. Baiji assigns the pink-haired girl the dangerous task of planting her weak puff shrooms as a frontline sacrifice. A system notification announces the first wave of zombies is officially on its way. The undead horde shambles forward, a grotesque mass of glowing eyes and outstretched hands. With his defensive plants in position, Baiji confidently signals for the battle to commence. On the roof, his teammate unleashes a rapid-fire barrage of peas from his plant. The veteran joins the assault, skillfully launching starfruit projectiles at the approaching monsters. Their combined attacks find their marks, striking the zombies with surprising force. The entire front line of the horde is peppered with projectiles, slowing their relentless advance. The rooftop defenders cheer on their success, encouraged by the effectiveness of their plant-based arsenal. Their celebration is cut short as a cone-headed zombie leaps over their defenses, landing right in the middle of the team. Thinking fast, Baiji grabs the pink-haired girl's arm in a firm grip. He shoves her forward, using her and her puff shroom as an unwilling meat shield against the zombie. The girl screams in terror, forced to confront the monster head-on. Under pressure, her little puff shroom unleashes a surprisingly potent projectile. The purple spore smacks the zombie right in the face, stopping it in its tracks. The tiny plant continues its assault, firing a rapid volley of dark spores. The projectiles find their mark, striking multiple zombies and disrupting their advance. Blinded and confused, the zombies stumble as Baiji signals the rooftop team to attack. A final, overwhelming barrage from above clears the field, and a system message confirms their victory. On the roof, the veteran and his teammate share a victorious high five, celebrating their successful defense. The pink-haired girl celebrates their seemingly easy victory, but the ground beneath them begins to crack. Their relief is short-lived, as a system message announces the start of Stage 2 and more incoming zombies. Overwhelmed, the girl collapses to the ground, complaining about the relentless pace of the game. Baiji remains focused, urging his team to stop complaining and prepare for the next fight. A new, more varied horde of zombies appears, signaling a significant increase in difficulty. The battle resumes with plant projectiles flying, but the team is quickly overwhelmed by the new threats. After the wave, a results screen shows that 3 of the 4 players have successfully leveled up. A teammate proudly reveals his powerful new gotcha pull, an explosive cherry bomb. Baiji puts his own new plant to use, a squash that viciously flattens an unsuspecting zombie. A massive explosion rips through the battlefield, sending the undead flying in all directions. A teammate faces a monstrous plant, smaller plant creatures lurking nearby. Other teammates struggle against a large, unusual creature. Stage 3 begins, with plant projectiles flying across the scene. Stage 4 commences, a determined player wielding an axe against a new threat. Stage 5 unfolds, with players facing an unseen challenge in a new environment. Stage 6 arrives with giant figures looming over the house. The team is overwhelmed by the sheer number of enemies. The veteran calls for a strategic retreat. A player interacts with the game interface, considering quitting. The team experiences a sudden, impactful event. The game abruptly ends, teleporting the 4 players out as the system calculates their rewards. Baiji immediately cuts the girl off, putting a stop to any talk of future team-ups. He ignores her suggestion and instead demands she return the expensive radio she took from him. The girl sheepishly hands back the bright red boombox, settling their debt. Nearby, another one of his ex-girlfriends watches the exchange and fumes at his behavior. She complains aloud that his in-game persona is just as much of a jerk as the real Baiji. A sudden thought strikes her as she realizes the 2 men look suspiciously similar. She ponders if they're the same person, unaware that Baiji actually toned down his appearance for the game. Her eyes widen as a shocking possibility begins to form in her mind. She quickly dismisses the thought, blushing as she recalls her hero and decides he's nothing like the real Baiji. The green-haired girl has a sudden epiphany, remembering a crucial task. She recalls her original goal to expose Baiji's true character to the campus belle and sprints off to find her. Unaware of her renewed mission, a tired Baiji yawns as she rushes past him. He reflects on the grueling game, acknowledging that the high risk brought equally high rewards. Satisfied with the outcome, he opens his system interface to check his new loot. The results screen confirms his level up, attribute point gain, and a hefty sum of game currency. He examines his new item fragments, a potato mine and a walnut, both classic zombie-stopping tools. With his business at the mall concluded, he decides to visit the welfare center from his past life. He makes his way to the local bus station to begin his journey. Baiji calmly steps onto the bus, heading towards a place full of old memories. He stands in the aisle of the quiet bus, reflecting on his next destination. He recalls that the original owner's university education was funded by the welfare center's director. A wry smile crosses his face as he remembers the gifts were bought with money scammed from ex-girlfriends. Taking a seat, he resolves to repay the kindness the original owner received. His moment of reflection is interrupted by a sudden buzz from his pocket. He pulls out his phone, wondering who could be contacting him now. His eyes widen at a frantic text from an unknown number, warning him to get off the bus immediately. Unseen by him, a sinister purple aura begins to envelop the moving vehicle. He looks out the window, searching for any sign of the danger he was warned about. From an aerial view, the road appears completely normal, making him suspect the message was just a prank. Baiji decides against getting involved in another supernatural event so soon. He reconsiders, deciding it's better to be safe than sorry, and gets up. He presses the button to request a stop, ready to get off the bus. He touches the sensor, but something seems amiss. He reacts with surprise, realizing something is wrong. The bus driver informs him they won't be stopping until they reach their destination. A menacing figure appears behind the driver, its eyes glowing red. Baiji realizes he's already caught up in something supernatural. He receives a message on his phone, a notification sound accompanying it. The message reveals a sinister truth about the bus and offers a deal. He smirks, realizing the mysterious texter is after his land deed and is working with the shadow fiend. He types back, reminding them the deed drops on death, which is why they were so desperate to warn him. With a smug grin, he flips the script, realizing they now have to beg him to let them save him. Elsewhere, in a vast library, a girl is interrupted by a notification on her phone. She checks her device, seeing a series of insistent messages flooding her screen. Her frustration grows as she's spammed with repeated demands to beg for his cooperation. Enraged by his shamelessness, she throws a token in a fit of fury. Baiji receives her desperate pleas, amused that his mysterious contact caved so easily. A final ominous message arrives, warning him of the rules of survival for the coming trial. His attention shifts to another passenger as he decides whether to intervene and save him. He confronts another passenger, demanding to know who he is. The young man introduces himself as Lin He, attempting to diffuse the tension with a friendly gesture. Lin He sits down, proposing a chilling riddle about the true danger on a sealed bus. His expression darkens as he reveals there's a far more horrifying possibility than a simple change in passenger numbers. He suggests the most terrifying scenario is gaining or losing just half a person. Baiji mentally recounts the passengers, confirming there were 8 people when he boarded. He pictures the silent, focused driver at the front of the bus. He recalls seeing a woman and a young girl sitting together near the window. He also remembers 2 punk-styled men sitting across the aisle from them. Finally, he pictures the elderly woman, realizing with a jolt that his count is off and something is terribly wrong. His eyes widen in shock as the horrifying implication of the riddle sinks in. Peeking under a seat, he spots a disembodied pair of legs, confirming their grim situation. The other man smugly points out that his chilling theory was correct all along. Baiji's reaction is unexpectedly appreciative, much to his new acquaintance's utter disbelief. The man questions Baiji's strange behavior, concluding he must be another player. Baiji coolly challenges him, asking how he can be so certain he isn't one of the threats. The man reveals his passive skill, spiritual intuition, which allows him to sense danger. Seeing they're both players, he proposes they form an alliance to survive the ordeal. They seal their new partnership with a firm, glowing handshake. Just as their team is formed, the bus grinds to an abrupt halt against some rocks. The sudden stop sends the bus careening, throwing everyone off balance. The 2 punks are thrown from their seats, angrily demanding to know where the driver is taking them. The mohawked man stomps toward the front, demanding an answer from the silent driver. Before he can reach the driver, a burly passenger grabs him, stopping his advance. As the burly man restrains the punk, Baiji signals for his new ally to make his move. Wasting no time, Baiji draws a pistol and takes aim at the real threat. He unloads a series of shots towards the driver's seat, targeting the shadowy entity. The 2 players watch as the shadowy figure collapses, neutralized by the gunfire. The disembodied legs under the seat begin to dissolve into a grotesque, pixelated puddle. At the same time, the elderly woman's form melts away, revealing she was never truly human. The passengers react with a mix of confusion and anger as the supernatural illusions fade away. The burly man's helpful facade drops, revealing a sinister grin as he turns on the others. A mysterious foot slams down on the brake pedal, bringing the vehicle to a jarring halt. The bus skids violently across the road, its journey abruptly and dangerously cut short. Shadowy tendrils are seen ensnaring the bus from above, trapping everyone inside the nightmare. Lin He shouts a desperate warning, realizing their only chance is to escape the vehicle now. The burly man transforms, towering over the mother and child who cower in terror on the floor. Its monstrous jaw unhinges, preparing to swallow its helpless victims in a single bite. In a horrifying instant, the creature strikes, leaving a grim and unsettling scene in its wake. The remaining survivors are frozen in absolute shock, witnessing the brutal reality of their situation. The mohawked man panics, unable to accept the horrifying reality, while his friend tries to keep him calm. Overwhelmed by terror, the man's mind snaps, and he begins making strange, inhuman sounds. Baida warns the other punk that his friend is now a liability, prompting a desperate plea for help. The creature finishes its gruesome meal, leaving behind a chilling reminder of the passenger's fate. A single lifeless hand drops from the monster's maw, a final haunting detail of the attack. The two players cautiously observe the grotesque creature as it stands over its recent victim. The monster turns its attention to them, prompting the last punk to scream for them to do something. Lin He summons a glowing blue weapon as Baiji prepares to engage the enemy head-on. Baiji reveals his basic starter knife, much to the punk's disbelief and disappointment. A sudden spark of inspiration hits Baiji as he remembers he has another, more suitable tool for the job. He strikes a dramatic pose, preparing to summon his defensive item. He hurls the object forward, calling upon the power of a mighty walnut. A bizarre, life-sized walnut materializes, blocking the monster's path with its unsettling presence. The others stare in disbelief as Lin. He questions how long their strange new barricade will last. Baiji calmly explains the walnut can hold for 90 seconds, giving them a brief window to escape. Without warning, he pivots and throws a powerful punch towards the side of the bus. The window shatters under the force of his blow, creating an immediate exit. He peers out the newly created opening, confirming his suspicion was correct. Baiji explains the bus stopping lifted the magical seal, then urges the others to jump before it's too late. Now safely outside, he surveys the desolate surroundings, wondering where this nightmare has taken them. He questions the logic of asking him for directions. He politely asks the driver for their location. The driver gives a chilling response, welcoming him to a dark place. He wonders if others have been in this situation before. The driver confirms others have arrived, but few return. He requests a light for his cigarette. Someone lights his cigarette with a stylish lighter. Now friendly, he asks the driver for directions back. The driver notes his similarity to another passenger and offers encouragement. The driver explains the difficulty of escaping this place. Engulfed in intense light and heat, a figure experiences an alarming situation. One man questions another's decision to enter a dangerous area. The determined man explains his reasoning and sets a time limit. A large bright moon illuminates a dark, ominous sky. 3 figures walk a path through a dimly lit forest. A man reacts to a sudden, unexpected event. He addresses someone named Zheng Yaowen, expressing annoyance. A man carries another seemingly unconscious figure. One man appears to be urgently communicating with another. A man cries out for help, seemingly in distress. Lin He and another player react to a sudden, unexpected sight. The other player checks his weapon, preparing for action. Lin He fires multiple projectiles at an unseen target. The other player takes aim, focusing on the threat. Lin He checks on his injured companion. The other player delivers grim news about their companion's fate. The other player urges them to move on, aware of the limited time. They arrive at their destination, a familiar location. The other player checks the time, calculating their remaining window. Lin He notices something that catches his attention. He discovers a notice board where the mission's clear conditions have been deliberately scratched out. Baiji wonders who would want to hide such crucial information from other players. He recalls a famous player's warning about a mental threat that has yet to manifest. Dismissing his ally's question, Baiji leads the group into a nearby building. The 3 survivors step into a mysterious shop with an eerie, red-lit interior. A strange, pale-faced shopkeeper greets them from behind the counter. The unsettling proprietor offers his assistance with an unnervingly polite demeanor. Unfazed by the strange atmosphere, Baiju casually sits down and orders a bowl of noodles. The shopkeeper explains that this is a special pawn shop where anything can be traded for a price. He's taken aback when the shopkeeper demands a special currency and asks what he'll trade for his meal. The shopkeeper's price list reveals a gruesome trade in human body parts for nether coins. Unsettled, Lin-Hee cautiously asks about the price of a bus ticket, hoping for an escape. The proprietor grins, quoting an exorbitant price of 300 nether coins for passage. He then lunges forward, getting uncomfortably close to the startled player. Lin-Hee recoils, completely bewildered by the shopkeeper's bizarre and invasive behavior. The shopkeeper's face contorts into a demonic grin as he makes a tempting offer to purchase Lin-Hee's soul. Lin-Hee is utterly repulsed by the grotesque proposition, his expression twisting in disgust. He shoves the persistent proprietor away, threatening to report his misconduct to the authorities of the underworld. Their strange negotiation is interrupted by the last surviving punk from the bus. With a desperate look, the punk asks if the shop's power extends to bringing back the dead. The shopkeeper confirms that resurrection is possible, giving the desperate man a sliver of hope. His hope is immediately crushed, as the proprietor reveals the price is far beyond his means. The three survivors leave the shop, a countdown timer reminding them of their limited time. Realizing they need 300 nether coins quickly, the group decides to split up to cover more ground. Baiji sets off on his own, a determined expression on his face as he begins the hunt for currency. His search leads him to a playground, where a sudden burst of confetti announces an unexpected event. A grotesque clown on a unicycle appears, cheerfully welcoming him to its sinister funhouse. Baiji connects the dots, realizing this must be the hellish trial the driver and texter warned him about. The grim understanding dawns on him that he has walked directly into a trap. His escape is cut off as the glass doors behind him slam shut, sealing him inside the clown's domain. The clown lets out a chilling laugh, its face a nightmarish grin of needle-sharp teeth. It looms over Baiji, its glowing red eyes boring into him as it invites him to play a deadly game. The game's layout is revealed, a massive, complex maze with a single entrance and a distant exit. The clown explains the rules, revealing the grim odds that only 2 out of over 100 players have ever survived. It then details the gruesome consequences of failure, promising a painful end if he's caught. Unimpressed, Baiji delivers a swift, resounding slap across the clown's face. He grabs the stunned creature, impatiently demanding that the game begin immediately. A question flashes on screen, hinting at a simple solution to the complex challenge. For his first move, Baiji calmly walks to the white entrance door, ignoring the maze entirely. After opening the door, he simply turns around, beginning the second step of his brilliant plan. He opens the black door, completing step 3 of his plan. He announces his victory, having outsmarted the maze. The clown accuses him of cheating, enraged by his cleverness. He calmly explains he simply exploited the rules, demanding payment. The furious clown orders him to leave, no longer welcoming him. He exits the funhouse, pleased with his quick win. He reflects on his efficient strategy, already counting his winnings. A system notification confirms his reward of 100 nether coins. He approaches the next challenge, a riddle room. He enters the riddle room, anticipating the next game. Inside, he's greeted by a strange, doll-like figure who confirms he's in the right place. A trio of smaller, unnerving puppets with nails in their heads seem to agree in unison. The main doll explains the game, a battle of wits with 3 riddles each. She lays out the strict rules, promising a grand prize for victory. But she ominously hints at the severe consequences of failure. The doll reveals the chilling penalty for losing. He'll become her newest permanent exhibit. Unfazed, Baiji grabs her hand, impatiently demanding they begin the game. The doll floats back to her throne, ready to pose her first challenge. She presents a seemingly impossible riddle about a man who drowned in the middle of a desert. Baiji looks utterly unimpressed as the doll smugly assumes her riddle is too difficult for him to solve. He interrupts her smugness, ready to deliver the answer she thinks is impossible. With a look of utter disdain, he questions if that was the best she could come up with. The doll's mood darkens, her sinister energy filling the room as she glares down at him. She leans in, her wide eyes conveying her fury as she accuses him of disrespecting her challenge. Baiji casually dismisses her difficult riddle, mocking her simple mind before revealing the obvious answer. He calmly explains that the man drowned when the desert was an ocean, a simple matter of geological time. The doll feigns surprise, sarcastically praising his incredible intellect for solving her puzzle. Her friendly facade shatters, replaced by a twisted grin as she hints that the game is far from over. His sharp gaze reveals he's completely unfazed, having expected this exact twist. With glowing red eyes, she boasts that even winners become her trophies, asking if he knows why. The doll's face twists into a manic grin as she reveals the chair allows her to read his mind. She boasts that this psychic link makes her unbeatable, as she'll know the answer to any riddle he could possibly create. Convinced of her victory, she declares her position has been invincible from the very beginning. Baiji calmly confirms he already knew, shattering her confidence with a single word. The doll stares in disbelief, demanding to know how he could have possibly uncovered her secret. He smirks, calling her dense and condescendingly offering to explain his simple reasoning. He points out a flaw in her rules. He could ask a riddle based on a secret only he knows. He deduces that her collection of trophies proves she can access her victim's memories to counter this strategy. He confidently concludes his logic, reminding her that a draw still counts as his victory. The doll looks down, a quiet, unsettling chuckle escaping her as her demeanor shifts once more. The doll insists that even with his knowledge, he has no chance of winning. Baiji calmly refutes her claim with a confident smirk. He leans back, boasting that he has countless ways to defeat her and just needs to pick one. He begins his counterattack, presenting his first of 3 complex riddles. The riddle is a difficult mathematical puzzle involving eliminating numbers in a circle. The doll frantically tries to calculate the answer, her mind overloaded by the problem. Before she can solve it, he impatiently cuts her off and moves to his next question. He poses a second riddle, a classic trick question about animals on a ship. He then asks for the captain's age, a nonsensical question with no logical answer. He criticizes her lack of human thinking and prepares to deliver his final game-winning riddle. The doll stammers, completely flustered by his relentless intellectual assault. Uncaring, Baiji dismisses her struggle and prepares to deliver his final decisive riddle. He poses a complex physics problem involving a bear falling into a trap with precise measurements. The riddle ends with a bizarre twist, asking for the color of the bear, which stuns the doll. Her mind races, unable to solve the puzzles or find the answers in his thoughts. The mental strain becomes too much, causing her processor to metaphorically explode. Defeated, the doll collapses to the floor, admitting that she has lost their game of wits. Baiji calmly stands over her, revealing the answer to his first complex math problem. He then meticulously explains the logical deductions behind the captain's age and the bear's color. Mocking her poor performance, he collects his winnings as a system notification confirms his 100 nether coin reward. Baiji arrives at the next challenge, a tranquil pavilion where a woman plays a stringed instrument. The mysterious musician greets him with a knowing smile, revealing she was expecting his arrival. Unfazed, he cuts straight to the point, asking about the nature of her game. She explains the challenge is a battle of music, where he can conjure any instrument with his imagination. She unleashes a powerful sonic blast from her instrument, challenging him to overpower her melody to win. The sound wave hits him with immense force, forcing him to cover his ears in pain. He's thrown to the ground, overwhelmed by the relentless auditory assault. The musician smirks, explaining her music creates illusions of suffering that drive victims to despair. Seeing him prostrate on the ground, she confidently declares her victory. But Baiji looks up with a completely different demeanor, questioning her premature celebration. The musician's confident smirk vanishes, replaced by an expression of pure shock. Baiji reveals he had his ears plugged the entire time, mocking her terrible performance. He admits his apparent defeat was just an act to scout her unimpressive abilities. Declaring it's his turn, he summons a swirling golden light, calling for a legendary instrument. A golden suona materializes in his hands as he dons a pair of cool sunglasses. He takes a deep breath, preparing to unleash a sonic blast that makes the musician recoil in fear. With a powerful exhale, he plays the instrument, unleashing a deafening wave of sound. The sound manifests as a massive tidal wave, crashing over the pavilion and overwhelming his opponent. The sheer force of the music begins to tear away at the musician's very form. Overwhelmed by the auditory assault, her spiritual body starts to disintegrate completely. With his opponent vanquished, Baiji smirks and declares another easy victory. A system notification confirms his reward, bringing his total to the 300 nether coins needed for escape. The scene shifts back to the desolate streets of the mysterious moonlit town. Baiji clutches his earnings, feeling uneasy despite having enough for a ticket out. His sharp senses alert him to a nearby disturbance, his expression hardening with focus. He finds his ally Lin He stumbling from a pool hall, his arm consumed by a dark corruption. Baishi rushes to his side, catching the injured player just as he collapses to the ground. Lin Hu weakly apologizes, admitting he carelessly fell into one of the town's many traps. Baiju offers his unique brand of medical assistance, presenting a horrifying DIY surgery kit. A terrified Lin He quickly rejects the offer, clearly preferring the corruption to Baiji's cure. Lin He reveals he has a healing item of his own, asking for help to apply it. Baiji slaps a strange green putty onto the corrupted arm, making his new ally wince. A system prompt identifies the rare healing item as Lin. He realizes Baiji has already cleared 3 challenges. Baiji confirms he has enough money for their escape, his gaze now fixed on the pool hall's strange proprietor. The cat-headed doorman glares at them with menacing red eyes, holding a pool cue like a weapon. Lin He explains the rules of the pool hall's game, a simple match against the cat with a deadly twist. After hearing about the treacherous opponent and hidden monsters, Baiji stands up, having already formed a plan. He confidently tells his stunned ally to wait there, preparing to take on the challenge himself. A mere 5 minutes later, Lin He looks down to find his arm has been completely healed. The bell on the pool hall door jingles, announcing Baiji's entrance to face the feline foe. Just moments later, Baiju casually greets his ally from the pool hall's entrance. He emerges with a handful of winnings as the defeated cat-headed proprietor waves a respectful farewell. Lin Hu stares in disbelief, only for Baiju to dismiss the feat as simple middle school geometry. With another challenge cleared, they set off to find their missing teammate. Their search leads them to a seafood restaurant where a pig-headed chef is hard at work. The menacing proprietor greets them with a sinister grin, offering them a meal. Cutting straight to the point, Baiju immediately asks for the rules of this establishment. The chef reveals the challenge is a culinary battle, daring them to best his skills. He showcases his intimidating technique, his cleaver radiating a chilling energy. The alternative, he explains, is to eat his special creations, revealing a counter of horrifying ingredients. Lin He reacts with disgust to the horrifying ingredients, barely holding back his nausea. Unfazed, Baiju inquires about the fate of the punk who entered the restaurant before them. The chef reveals their teammate in a precarious position, having already failed the challenge. He then offers to sell the captured punk back to them for a mere 10 nether coins. The deal comes with a catch. They must first compete against him in a culinary showdown. The rules are simple. 3 dishes are prepared and scored by 3 judges, with the highest total winning. The chef gets uncomfortably close, forcing Baiji to use an umbrella to shield himself from the proprietor's spit. Lin He suggests a foolproof plan to rig the vote, but Baiji questions his stomach for the task. The menacing chef waits patiently for their answer, confident they'll accept his terms. With a smirk, Baiji accepts the contest, ready to face the demonic chef in his own kitchen. Baiji reveals his hand-picked judges, the 3 proprietors he's already thoroughly humiliated. He casually greets the furious trio, who are less than thrilled to see him again. The clown and the doll seethe with rage, convinced he's walking into a guaranteed loss. Unfazed by their threats, Baiji stands ready as the pig-headed chef officially begins the cook-off. The chef starts his grotesque food prep, using unsettling methods to create his first dish. As the chef mixes his horrifying ingredients, a nauseated Lin He questions Baiji's strategy. Baiji grins menacingly, revealing his own secret weapons, an arsenal of highly toxic chemicals. He calmly instructs a horrified Lin He to combine the dangerous substances into a single lethal concoction. Lin He stares nervously at the bubbling green brew, doubting this insane plan can possibly work. Baiji explains his foolproof strategy. The judges must either taste his poison or give him a perfect score. Lin He calls the plan vicious, but Baiji simply grins, accepting it as a high compliment. With the competition over, the 3 resentful judges are asked to choose the superior dish. They face 2 horrifying options, the chef's grotesque meal or Baiji's bubbling toxic brew. The lead judge stands to deliver their verdict, with the other 2 looking on in disgust. The furious trio points at Baiji, forced to choose his dish because it's literally poison. A system notification confirms his win, adding to his coin total before deducting a fee to free their teammate. Reunited outside, Lin He helps their dazed and weakened companion recover from his ordeal. Baiji coldly remarks that their rescued teammate would have been better off not surviving. He calculates they need 900 coins for 3 tickets and asks Lin He how much he's earned. Lin He looks away in shame, admitting he only managed to gather a meager 100 coins. Baizhi offers his teammate walkthroughs for the shops he's cleared. Baizhi continues his solo mission to clear more stages. He enters the martial arts hall, the clear condition being survival for 1 minute. He faces a formidable panda opponent. Baizhi throws sand in the panda's eyes. The panda reacts in pain, temporarily blinded. Baizhi spills lubricant on the floor. The panda slips and falls. Baizhi celebrates his quick victory. He receives 100 nether coins as a reward. He continues his solo run, entering a medical challenge to outtreat a rival doctor. Next, he faces a test of pure nerve, enduring a terrifying ordeal without making a sound. The next stop is a classic haunted house, promising a grim and difficult trial. He calmly walks through a sea of bones, ready to conquer 18 levels of horror. Having cleared every challenge, Baizhi walks through the now empty town square. He wonders about his teammates' whereabouts, believing all the trials are complete. A sudden realization stops him in his tracks. He spots one final, overlooked building, realizing his mission isn't over yet. Without hesitation, he approaches the mysterious door and gives it a firm knock. Back in the pawn shop, he questions the proprietor about what lies beyond this nightmarish town. The shopkeeper's ear twitches as a sudden realization dawns on him. He rushes forward, shocked that Baizhi has already cleared 9 of the town's challenges. Unimpressed, Baizhi shoves the proprietor's face away, demanding he keep his distance. He firmly slams the shopkeeper's head onto the counter to make his point clear. The proprietor reveals Baizhi is only the 3rd person to ever complete the trials so quickly, mentioning a new stage. He gives a sinister grin, ominously hinting that Baizhi will soon be sent to the trial grounds. Surrounded by a powerful aura, Baizhi remains completely unfazed by the cryptic warning. The shopkeeper frantically searches his counter, advising Baizhi to level up before facing the next deadly challenge. Baizhi watches in confusion as the proprietor tosses items aside, wondering what he's looking for. With a look of triumph, the shopkeeper finally finds what he was searching for, a mysterious book. The proprietor presents a list of powerful pawned skills, offering Baizhi a single purchase. Baizhi feigns shock, pretending to believe he's being offered 3 items for free. He then tries to haggle, shamelessly asking for just one of the items as a gift. The proprietor is left speechless, having never encountered such a brazen customer. After clarifying the rules, the proprietor firmly denies Baizhi's request for a freebie. A system notification confirms Baizhi's purchase, deducting 400 coins from his total. Outside, Lin He confirms he's earned enough for his ticket using Baizhi's guides. With their business concluded, Baizhi declares it's finally time to leave the cursed town. The 3 survivors walk towards a massive gate, their escape finally within reach. Baizhi leads the way as his 2 weary companions follow closely behind him. As they walk, he's hand sweats, gripping a pistol he kept hidden from the others. He hesitates, conflicted about betraying Baizhi, whom he genuinely believes is a good person. His resolve crumbles and he begins to lower the weapon, abandoning his treacherous plan. But before he can, Baizhi's hand suddenly clamps down on his, stopping him cold. Baizhi turns, his expression unreadable as he tells his shocked ally not to put the gun away. He calmly warns Lin He that this is his only chance to shoot, revealing he knows more than he let on. Caught completely off guard, Lin He demands to know when Baizhi figured out his secret. Baizhi reveals he suspected the truth from the moment they boarded the bus to hell, assuming all passengers were already dead. He explains that the dead here don't stay dead, but transform into monsters just like their other companion. Baizhi concludes his deduction, stating that the solo nature of every challenge proved he was the only true player all along. Lin He confirms Baizhi's theory, his back beginning to contort unnaturally. His body swells to a monstrous size as he looms over Baizhi, demanding to know his true identity. Grotesque red tendrils burst from his back, completing his horrifying transformation. Baizhi remains completely unfazed, surrounded by the writhing appendages of his former ally. The creature introduces itself as a fallen one, a failed player trapped in this realm. He reveals his only path to freedom is to eliminate Baizhi and take his place. Baizhi coolly questions his hesitation, pointing out the perfect opportunity he just missed. The monster confesses he couldn't pull the trigger, clinging to the last remnants of his humanity. Defeated, he lowers the weapon, accepting his grim fate in the cursed town. He kneels and makes a final plea, offering his possessions in exchange for a favor for his sister. Baizhi agrees to the Fallen One's request. He picks up a small mysterious box left by the Fallen One. The Fallen One reveals a sinister secret. The Fallen One attacks Baiji with surprising speed. Baiji reacts quickly, dodging the tendrils. The Fallen One explains his deceptive tactics. Baiju is ensnared by the Fallen One's tendrils. The Fallen One gloats about his successful trap. Baiju reveals a hidden counter strategy. Baiju sets the Fallen One ablaze. Baiji holds a lighter, a sinister grin spreading across his face. The monstrous Lin He is stunned, tendrils recoiling from the flames. Lin He roars in disbelief, questioning how Baiji anticipated his attack. Baiji calmly explains his deduction, flicking his lighter nonchalantly. He reveals his distrust, never believing Lin He's friendly facade. Lin Hu screams in agony as flames engulf him. Still burning, Lin. He questions how Baiji survived his parasitic attack. Baiji reveals a trick, pulling a small rubber hand from his sleeve. He explains his sleight of hand, revealing his deceptive tactic. Lin Hu and his companion are shocked by the bizarre item, the monstrous Lin. He grabs the last punk, his immense power cracking the very ground beneath them. A massive chasm splits the earth, separating Baiji from the two trapped figures. Baiji's expression hardens as he realizes the situation has escalated beyond his control. The transformed Lin, he makes a desperate final plea for Baiji to wait. He insists his request to help his sister was genuine, his humanity resurfacing for a moment. Lin He offers all his possessions, begging Baiji to fulfill his last wish before he's completely lost. Baiji kneels to collect the items, solemnly accepting the heavy responsibility. With the deal sealed, he bids a final, silent farewell to his fallen ally. The chasm violently seals itself, entombing the two remaining figures within a newly formed mountain of dark rock. With his mission in the cursed town finally over, Baiji turns and makes his escape. A massive purple barrier dissolves, dropping Baiji back onto the familiar roadside. He catches his breath, exhausted from the ordeal, as the familiar bus driver watches him from the doorway. The driver informs him the tour is over, demanding the 300 nether coin fare for the ride back. Baiji tries to get answers, but the driver cryptically warns him that curiosity is a dangerous habit in their world. The driver, now wearing a mask, urges him to board the bus before it departs for good. The bus speeds away, leaving the nightmarish realm and its horrors behind in a blur. Safely on his way, Baiji reflects on his victory, realizing he's still in the dark about the bigger picture. He checks his system, pleased to see he's acquired a rare pistol and a hefty sum of coins from his fallen ally. The scene shifts to a university campus, where someone is loudly declaring that Baiji is unworthy of the campus belle. The green-haired girl passionately warns her friend, the campus belle, about Baiji's true nature as a manipulative scoundrel. The campus belle grabs her friend, furiously defending Baiji's honor. She passionately declares he's a secret hero, leaving her friend completely stunned. In her mind, Baiji is a lone superhero who only fakes relationships to solve supernatural mysteries. She argues that the timing of recent campus miracles proves Baiji was the one responsible. She forces her now wavering friend to chant a mantra praising Baiji's righteous character. Her demands for a louder chant echo across the campus, turning heads everywhere. Elsewhere, a hand clenches a crumpled bus ticket in utter frustration. A ticket agent cheerfully informs a dejected young man that he's missed his bus by 3 hours. The young man is overcome with despair, his face hidden in shadow as his plans fall apart. It's revealed to be Baiji, who collapses in defeat, lamenting his wasted time and money after the hellish bus ride. He mentally calculates the immense financial loss from his wasted time. Overwhelmed by his misfortune, he wonders if the system itself is out to get him. The next day, a determined Baiji returns to the bus station, once again heading for the welfare center. As he waits to board, he breathes a sigh of relief, believing his luck has finally turned. His hopes are dashed as the bus speeds past the stop without even slowing down. Left in the dust, he concludes that the system is definitely targeting him personally. A system notification suddenly appears, forcing him into a mandatory team mission. A 5-minute countdown timer materializes, signaling the start of the new trial. He impatiently waves away the timer, already annoyed by the sudden interruption. He fumes over the mission's terrible timing, costing him yet another bus ticket. The final seconds tick away before the system initiates a forced teleportation. A brilliant column of light descends from the sky, marking his sudden arrival. He materializes within the light, stunned to find himself in an unexpectedly familiar place. The mission has transported him directly to the gates of the welfare center where he grew up. He speculates on the nature of this place, questioning if it's real or a twisted copy. His investigation stops as he concludes the entire welfare center has fallen into an otherworldly realm. Peeking into the security booth, he sees signs of a recent hasty departure. Without hesitating, he slips past the empty guard post to investigate further. A sudden sharp pain draws his attention to a mysterious cut that has appeared on his hand. He smirks at the unexplained injury, intrigued by the mission's increasingly bizarre nature. A woman with blue hair calls out to Baiji, telling him to stop wasting time and join the others. He turns to see a diverse group of 6 other players already assembled for the mission. The camera focuses on 3 of them, revealing their names and levels, with one reaching a formidable level 8. Another trio of players is shown, all hovering around a respectable level 6. One player grimly predicts a casualty among them, earning a sharp rebuke from his blonde teammate. The pessimistic player then points directly at Baiji, identifying him as a low-level newcomer. With all 7 players gathered, the mission is officially announced as a human survival game. The newly formed team stands before the entrance to the welfare center, ready to begin the trial. A pink-haired woman suddenly recognizes Baiji, pointing at him with a look of utter shock. Before any explanations can be made, the massive doors begin to slide shut, sealing their fate. The massive doors slam shut with a resounding thud, trapping the players inside. 2 of the players rush to the entrance, shouting in alarm as they realize the doors sealed themselves. The bespectacled man tries to force the door open with a powerful kick, but it refuses to move. A player with a ponytail calmly explains the grim reality: they're locked in until the mission is over. He grimly concludes that the no time limit means they'll be trapped here to die if they fail. The bespectacled man agrees, deducing that the lack of a time limit is a trap designed to make things progressively harder. He pushes up his glasses and proposes a logical strategy. They should split into 3 groups to cover more ground. The blonde player immediately shows his contempt for the plan by spitting right next to him. The bespectacled man's face darkens with rage, a vein throbbing on his temple from the blatant disrespect. He lunges forward in anger, only to be restrained by the muscular player as the blonde mocks his horror movie logic. The bespectacled man argues that splitting up is a death sentence if a group falls into a trap. He clarifies his plan, suggesting small groups of 2 or 3 to minimize the risk. The other players quickly agree, seeing the logic in his revised strategy. A woman with braided hair raises her hand, asking how they'll form the teams. The pink-haired woman and the blonde player both immediately volunteer to team up with Baiji. Baiji and the muscular man exchange confused glances, surprised by the sudden attention. A graphic displays the final team assignments, splitting the 7 players into 3 search groups. As they head upstairs, the pink-haired woman asks Baiji about his legendary luck with monster spawns. Baiji internally marvels at her progress, shocked she's a higher level despite them starting at the same time. She eagerly asks for his command, completely trusting him to lead their 2-person team. Baiji stops, asking his teammate if she's kept track of how many floors they've climbed. They both stare up a seemingly endless curving staircase that seems to defy logic. Realizing they're in a trap, he abruptly tells her they need to go back downstairs immediately. The pair quickly descend the steps, a sense of urgency in their movements. She runs ahead with a worried look as Baiji follows, his expression focused and serious. They reach the bottom, only to find themselves on the exact same landing where they started. As she panics, Baiji devises a new plan for them to split up and break the spatial loop. He instructs her to run down while he runs up, determined to overcome the illusion. Without hesitation, they both sprint off in opposite directions on the confounding staircase. A stylized shot shows them running on an impossible structure, trapped in a disorienting paradox. They sprint in opposite directions, trying to break the mind-bending illusion of the staircase. But their efforts are futile, as they meet again on the exact same landing, trapped in the loop. His teammate begins to panic, fearing they're permanently stuck walking in circles. She then recalls his earlier advice, realizing the solution must be hidden in plain sight. Her eyes land on a nearby window, a potential escape from their prison. Convinced this is their way out, she eagerly reaches for the window latch. Baiji sharply stops her, identifying the window as the dangerous disturbance from the mission briefing. A tense silence falls as his warning hangs in the air, her hand hovering near the glass. Ignoring his caution, she decides to take the risk and reaches for the window anyway. He calls out her name in alarm, realizing she's about to make a terrible mistake. A shocking realization hits Baiji as he understands the true nature of the trap. His teammate ignores his warning, unlatching the window with a decisive click. He watches in horror as her three-dimensional form flattens into a two-dimensional image. Baiji deduces they're not in a building at all, but trapped inside a living painting. He grabs his walkie-talkie, urgently warning the other teams of the bizarre new threat. The other groups receive his frantic message, their expressions turning to shock and disbelief. He explains their predicament and asks a crucial question about children's drawings to solve the puzzle. Meanwhile, another team is ambushed by a massive, shadowy creature swooping from the ceiling. A hulking dark monster with a glowing red core materializes, blocking their escape. The blue-haired woman fearlessly launches herself at the creature, ready for a desperate battle. The two players launch a coordinated attack, striking the shadowy monster from both sides. Their efforts are useless as the creature stands completely unscathed, forcing them to retreat in terror. Baiju gets an update from the third team, who have just located a stash of children's drawings. The muscular player pulls out a thick stack of papers, confirming he's found the potential source of the curse. The camera pans over a collection of innocent-looking doodles, including animals and trees. The woman with braided hair speculates on the nature of the cursed image, wondering if it's even a child's drawing. Her teammate immediately dismisses her complex theories with a look of disbelief. Baiju explains over the radio that the trap is simple, like a child's crude sketch of a person. He urges them to find a drawing of a stairwell that looks completely different from the others. A look of dawning horror spreads across the woman's face as she finally understands the terrible truth. The team finds the exact drawing Baiju described, a crude sketch of a figure in a hallway. Over the radio, he proposes a wild plan to alter their reality by erasing parts of the drawing. The other team hesitates, clutching an eraser as they prepare to test his bizarre theory. With a deep breath, they begin to rub out a section of the crayon-drawn floor. Back in the stairwell, the physical bench Baiju was near instantly vanishes into thin air. A satisfied smirk spreads across his face, confirming his control over this painted world. He then calmly instructs the other team to erase the stick figure representing his trapped companion. In a flash, the pink-haired woman is violently ejected from the wall, freed from her 2D prison. Overcome with relief and admiration, she tearfully thanks Baiju for saving her life. She stumbles forward, the faint outline on the wall marking where she was trapped just moments before. Her relief is short-lived as she loses her balance and plummets downwards. Baiju effortlessly catches her, holding her securely in his arms. She gazes at her savior with admiration, completely captivated by the moment. The romantic fantasy shatters as he unceremoniously drops her onto the floor. He scolds her for her recklessness before instructing the other team to destroy the cursed drawing. The other team sets the drawings ablaze, receiving a system notification that the threat is neutralized. Meanwhile, the second team flees in terror from a shadowy monster hot on their heels. They realize they've been running in an endless loop, their stamina quickly draining. The bespectacled man racks his brain, convinced he's missed a crucial clue to their escape. His teammate urges him to swallow his pride and contact the resourceful Baiju for a solution. The bespectacled man swallows his pride and desperately calls Baiju for help over the radio. Baiju calmly relays the other team's predicament about an endless corridor and a mysterious shadow. He smirks, confidently telling them the solution to their problem is surprisingly simple. The trapped duo reacts with disbelief to his calm assessment as the monster looms behind them. Baiju explains that the menacing shadow was actually trying to give them clues from the start. He casually munches on an apple while recounting how the hallway transformed into an endless loop. The bespectacled man confirms the story, revealing he deployed a homing robot to attack the creature. In a flashback, the summoned robot scuttles towards the shadow figure as it continues to pound the wall. The man smirks, convinced that destroying the shadow is the key to breaking the illusion. He prepares to detonate his robot, ready to unleash a powerful explosion on the mysterious figure. The robot unexpectedly detonates right at the man's feet, catching both players in the blast. The blue-haired woman cries out in alarm, realizing their plan has backfired spectacularly. She shoves her teammate aside, reacting instinctively to the sudden danger. The resulting explosion throws them both backward, filling the corridor with light and force. The bespectacled man recounts the failure, explaining the attack only hurt them and left the shadow untouched. Baiju calmly probes for details, asking if the robot was manually controlled, which the man confirms. His expression sharpens as he asks about the rhythm of the creature's strange wall pounding. The blue-haired woman reports that the shadow's movements are mechanical and repetitive, lacking any variation. A simplified flashback illustrates how the shadow figure would flee from them down the corridor. The players explain the creature's simple pattern. It only attacks when they get close, otherwise it just bangs on the wall. Baiju calmly gets his teammate's attention, pulling her back from her daze. He confidently announces over the radio that he's already solved their teammate's riddle. The trapped duo is shown in a chibi style, completely baffled by his sudden declaration. The bespectacled man frantically demands an explanation, unable to comprehend the solution. Baiju breaks down the simple logic: a ghost is hitting a wall. He reveals the answer with a smirk, identifying the phenomenon as a classic ghost wall. The bespectacled man struggles to understand, but his teammate quickly grasps the bizarre concept. Defeated, the man slumps to the floor as he realizes the trap is based on a child's literal interpretation. He understands the ghost wall distorted their perception, making them walk in circles and his robot attack itself. Baiju explains that the curses are designed by a child's imagination, where a ghost hitting a wall literally traps people in a loop. The ponytail player asks if Baiju has a solution to the ghost wall problem. The bespectacled man realizes robots aren't affected by illusions. He suggests using the robot in auto-target mode. The robot locks onto the shadow and prepares to attack. The robot explodes, but the blast hits the players instead. A system message confirms a hidden anomaly has been resolved. The pink-haired woman questions Baiju's cautious approach. Baiju reminds her to be careful and not touch anything randomly. He tosses an apple core into a seemingly empty room to test for traps. A monstrous tongue emerges from the darkness, snatching the apple core. The pink-haired woman recoils in terror as the massive tongue narrowly misses them. The wall splits open to reveal a monstrous maw, confirming the entire room is a living creature. Overcome with fear, she realizes she was moments away from being devoured. Baiju's expression hardens. Understanding the sixth floor presents a far deadlier challenge. Elsewhere, the third team decides to press on with their own search. The second team spots a dark figure slumped at the end of a hallway, stopping them in their tracks. The bespectacled man breaks into a cold sweat, struck by a horrifying realization about his recent actions. He understands with dawning horror that he has inadvertently caused the demise of their own teammate. Meanwhile, Baiju opens another door, only to find it leads to yet another empty space. He and his partner stand perplexed, having searched multiple vacant rooms and questioning the mission's bizarre logic. His teammate looks utterly baffled, questioning the practical value of a room that eats things. Baiju cheerfully explains its true purpose. It's an infinite, eco-friendly trash can. A cute animation illustrates his point, showing a bulldozer dumping waste into the monster's maw. Their search finally yields a result as Baiju points out the first item to appear in a previously empty room. The duo cautiously approaches a large blank wooden sign that has mysteriously materialized. As he moves to inspect it, his terrified teammate tries to stop him, fearing he'll be eaten. Baiju confidently explains that solving the puzzle requires taking a calculated risk. He activates a powerful skill, enveloping himself in a swirling vortex of dark purple energy. A system notification details his shadow ability as he melts into the floor, becoming one with the darkness. Suddenly, his teammate cries out as shadowy spikes erupt from a nearby mirror, ambushing her from behind. In his shadow form, Baiju successfully retrieves the sign and reads its contents. He processes the crucial information, his glowing eyes revealing a hint of a new plan. His teammate screams a warning as the man-eating room activates once more. The force of the room's activation sends Baiju flying backward across the floor. As the mirror trap closes in, Baiju unleashes his shadow control ability. He commands the shadow spikes to hook onto the monstrous maw of the room. The controlled shadows latch onto the wall, successfully jamming the deadly trap. Reverting to his human form, Baiju reveals an injury, prompting his teammate's concern. As she bandages his arm, she asks what was written on the sign he risked everything for. Baiju plays dumb, pretending to have no memory of the sign and leaving her completely baffled. She points to the empty space where the sign was, but he continues to deny ever seeing it. Frustrated, she decides to stop questioning him and simply trust his plan to carry them to victory. The camera reveals the sign's true message, a crude taunt designed to lure players into a trap. With a sinister grin, Baiju compliments the trap's creator, impressed by their provocative style.